this is not only a story of those 88 people, but this is a story of so many of us. My name is Anastasia Gajkowska, and when I left my abusive relationship, I wanted to create a movie, a film, a documentary where I interview not only survivors, but thrivers. I mean, people who left abusive relationships and they're really thriving now. I flew to Hollywood to learn the art of making films. I asked 8 questions. This documentary is a sample of combined stories. I use my laptop camera, my phone camera. Many recordings you will see in this documentary were filmed by survivors in their own home. All our participants decided to share their story voluntarily. 88 stories, one soul, one voice, one calling for the whole humanity. Welcome back. In this episode, our Exposé experts and thrivers are sharing what helped them the most to thrive after leaving an abusive relationship. Enjoy!
I'm thriving now. I'm happy. I don't have to gaslight myself. I don't ruminate like until I see pictures on the ceiling. I don't have anxieties no more. It's like my life is I'm a completely different person now. Completely different person from receiving therapy. Yes, I had to do my own work, but yes, that's where the start of my real healing process actually started. That's the place. Therapist, coming back from the therapist and not being able to talk like physically. It's like somebody had just switched off my volume. No talking for like 4 days. Nothing. No talking. People would phone me, not want to pick up the phone. People would call, nah. Hey Seth, how you doing? Yeah, fine. And then not talk. Just make up excuses. I'm going to bed. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Not wanting to be around anyone because my brain was recalibrated and processing all those things, all those suppressed emotions and suppressed feelings.
And everyone's thriving looks different. You know, my thriving looks different from someone else's thriving from someone else's thriving. The thing to know is that these are skills that can be learned. And every person, we are all equal. We all have equal opportunity. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional here, to learn these skills, because I'm tired of people feeling like it's not for them, or like there's something special about someone who healed, or they're somehow stronger, or people, you know, saying, oh, that person's just not resilient. No, every person can learn. Every person, their skills.
Your experience of trauma is equivalent to a car crash. Every time a car comes, crashes you into the side. What happens when a car crashes or knocks your car? It leaves a scratch, it leaves a dent, it leaves a mark. And this is what we go around. We walk around with these dents and bruises, and they're unhealed trauma. But yeah, their exterior and our face, oh yeah, we're lovely, we're smiling. But you're like broken. Like if you were to analyze yourself, how much trauma your body and your mind has gone through, and you equivalent it to a car knocking you every time you're on the road, a car hitting you from the back, from the side. someone dropped something on the roof, how do you think your car would look? It would look a mess, right? It would it would stay. If you just picture it, just for all those times, and it's not just like every single time. Maybe make it as a make it as an exercise. Picture yourself as a car, and do it as if you were physically beaten. Put that as someone hit you from the side, so all your doors bashed in, rape. Put it as someone taking a hammer, beating your car, name calling, take a hammer, a knock. You would, and then put it over, and you kind of capture every single time that they said that, or every time that thing happened. It's like, and when you look, it's like, oh my God, it's like, this is me. Like, I this is me. My face is happy, but my body and my exterior is so damaged. And this is what we go around in. We go around in because we can't see the damage. We think the damage is, oh yeah, it's okay, it's fine, I can deal with it, I can handle it. No, this damage is like, is just the whole, that visualization is quite extreme, but this is what we go around. Those of us who suffer trauma, like I had no doors, like my car had no doors, ripped off, like because all the forcing, all the anxiety, all the gaslighting that I had to go through. But I put on a persona that I was happy and jokey and loving, but I was destroyed. Like when I look at myself to how I am now, I was like destroyed, and I tried to make the best of what I could. And then, but yeah, now what I know now, I was just not even ready to do anything like marriage, kids, nothing, because I was so broken.
I think what happens too is a lot of people will look at somebody like me and they'll think, oh, she's super confident and she's so together and all this stuff, and I will agree with that. I don't discount that. But I think that's an important part of it, is I'm able to embrace that part of myself and go, wow, I didn't used to be like this at all. I used to be a wreck. I was your classic doormat when it came to relationships. Men would literally walk all over me. I would get used regularly. And I was jealous and fearful, and sometimes I could be, mean and protective, and, just trying to self-protective, and there's dissociative. I was so dissociative for so many years. And so it is a process that you go through of worthiness. And the thing that worked the most for me was, and it's something I continue to do with myself daily, I continue my process. It doesn't just end now, whoa, suddenly I'm living this amazing life. I do think my life is amazing, and it's accepting where you are right now and going, okay, today I can get a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. And the thing that worked the most for me really was learning to see the best parts of me and to honor the best parts of me. People may tell you like, oh my gosh, you're so nice, you're so kind, you're so beautiful, you're so, like, take that energy in. We're so busy pushing it away because it's like, well, no, I'm not worthy, And so as soon as you push that energy away, you're pushing away your worthiness, and you are worthy. Every single person on this earth is worthy. Every person has amazing skills and talents and abilities and all these incredible qualities. You have compassion and love and peace and joy and kindness and all of those things just as much as you have guilt, shame, anger, sorrow, pain. And so the journey is about going from that to that. And to name that, it's going from who you think you are, who you're told you should be, who society has been telling you should be, who your parents told you should be, your schools told you should be, and how you should think, and what is quote unquote normal, to going to who you really are. And that's who you know you are. That's who you know you are inside, and only you know what that is. You know, what's genuine to you, what's the truth for you of who you really are. And you'll find that again with your skills, your talents, your abilities, and what you came to this earth to share. And that's your service. And when you find a way to be of service to others with those things, oh man, it's the most incredible, energizing, healing force I think there is.
The conscious Lisa would have never married him. My higher self would have never chosen him, and I certainly wouldn't have stayed for as long as I stayed. So I was not conscious in that relationship, although I thought I was. And so when I began to understand that I was living below the veil of consciousness, then my aim was to remain above the veil of consciousness and to continually work at raising my level of consciousness so I can observe the way I think and the way that I feel. And if I can observe the way that I think and the way that I feel, then I'm in control over my life. So when I am with someone who is abusive, I know it by the way that I feel. And I don't have to engage, and I don't have to defend myself, and I don't have to go down a rabbit hole. I can just leave that person where they are. So I don't even have to judge that person from my higher state of awareness. So I'm able to hold on to my own energy without being drained by other people. And it really is the path. I feel like we're all on that path. We're all here to gain a higher state of consciousness, to come out of the subconscious life. Carl Jung says that until you make that which is subconscious conscious, it will dictate your life and you'll think it's fate. And nothing could be further from the truth. I think it's the only way to heal trauma is to become conscious of your trauma and conscious of we can mold our reality if we can awaken to what's happening in the subconscious mind. And narcissists arrest us because they control what's in our subconscious mind. And you know what? I thank the person that I was with, and they just got worse. After I got divorced, it was like the men that I picked just got worse. And I realized, oh my God, it was me. I was the common denominator. None of these men knew each other. That's not to say that narcissists are not abusive. They are, but it sheds light on like the type of what was up with me, that I was attracting these men and begging for their approval. Right. So it wasn't until I changed that changed. And I'm in a very healthy relationship right now. I've been with my husband for 13 years and it's amazing. So you can heal, you can thrive, and you can attract a healthy relationship.
Knowing that people can not just bounce back from adversity, but actually bounce forward. And that's what post-traumatic growth is about. And reach new levels of thriving and new levels of self-actualization. So of course, we never want anyone to go through trauma. That's just not anything anyone would ever want to experience. And at the same time, if we have experienced trauma, we know that we don't just have to bounce back to where we were, we can actually bounce forward.
We were victimized, but we're not victims. That part of the healing I see in my patients is a very hard thing to get over. Especially the longer you're with a narcissist, the more years you're married to one, or the more years you're with someone, that takes a longer time. That getting from victim to survivor to thriver, So I find people start ruminating that they want to stay in that victim position, and they're so angry. And they don't want to take responsibility to stand on their own 2 feet because they're scared and they're still trauma bonded, maybe, or just it's still in that victim mode. But yeah, that's why it takes a while. So it's almost like you go from trauma bond to being in a victim mode for a while. But when that lifts, and you see it in someone, it's an amazing thing. When somebody says, I am a codependent, I am, enough with that. I need to take responsibility for me.
Something really powerful in owning your victimhood. I think that we move too quickly from, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor, which is great, right? I'm a survivor, absolutely. But the only way that I got to the place of owning survivorship was by owning my victimhood, was by allowing myself to go, wow, I really owning it. Because there's a lot of power in that, as sort of maybe dichotomous as that may sound, there's actually a lot of power in owning that you're a victim. And that's sort of where you can sort of really dive into the grief of that, because so often we're like, I'm not a victim, I don't want to look at that. That's really hard and ugly and scary, and I don't want to look at it. And again, if you don't do that, you're kicking the can down the road, because eventually you're going to have to go through that.
A lot of people want to, as survivors, as a victim, a lot of them want that justice, but the greatest justice that we can serve is by developing ourselves, by our self-love, our self-compassion, by thriving beyond. There's no way to take any of us down. We were here for a purpose, but that in itself is justice through the way that we design and choose our lives, the way we create our lives after abuse. There's the justice.
I think that's really important to remember. One of the things that can help take out of feeling like the victim is reminding yourself and really looking from the perspective that this happened for you, for your development, for your growth, for your forward movement. It didn't have to happen to you. As long as you're in that, this happened to me, and you're in the victim place. And when you stay in that space, it's very hard for healing to come through to you. But when you start thinking like, okay, well, this happened for me to transform that, for me to learn how to be more loving to myself, to stop beating myself up. That's huge, huge, huge. If you grew up in an experience with parents, one or the other or both, who were abusive, they might have been self-abusive, they might have been abusive towards you, you learn to beat yourself up too. That's how you do it, right? That's how we get through life. And beating yourself up is so counterproductive to your healing. So learning how to be kind to yourself, to be gentle with yourself. And one of the things I tell people to do is like start calling yourself sweetheart. Like, okay, scan your body. What do I need right now? I'm thirsty. Okay. All right, sweetheart, let's go get some water. And that's self-care, because like after you leave your parents, you parent yourself. And if you think about that being a part of your everyday experience, how would you have wanted to be parented? You would have wanted to be parented with love, with compassion, with understanding, someone who listens to you, someone who cares for you, someone who's really there for you on an emotional level. And so when you give all of those things to yourself, you're changing the whole landscape of what is already internally sort of in place inside of you that doesn't have to be anymore.
You need a why. What is yours? What is your why? Why do you still fight to get up in the morning? Why do you get a job? It's not just to have a car. It's not just to have an apartment. There's something else.
Everything is a reflection, and my outer reality is a reflection of my inner reality. So if you have people in your life that are abusive or critical, then it means you're being like that to yourself. Are you saying to yourself, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm undeserving, I'm unworthy, I'm not enough, nobody wants me? You're literally vibrating in fear. Fat. Like, would you say any of those things to anybody else? What do you want to say to yourself instead? How do you actually want to feel? Make a list of all the qualities and traits that you would love to embody and be like. Why am I so happy, healthy, and abundant? You do it while you're moving, while you're dancing, and you're the most important person in your life. So own it and go and have fun. Go and do what you want to do. Do what brings you joy, and do more of that every single day.
at a certain point, it stops being so healthy to keep revisiting all the things that happened, right? I think it's important to, like I said, get the counseling, get the support, do all the things. And at some point, we really want to focus on life moving forward, because the thing is, they already stole enough time from us in the past. Our life is ours moving forward. And we don't want to let them take any more of that away from us. And understanding that every person, is equal. Every person on earth is equal.
Sometimes we have to do some deprogramming in a way, because we may think everything is a threat, because of our trauma. We think everyone's going to hurt us, and it's not true, right? So we have our own work to do on feeling that safety again in various environments that are generally safe, and with various people that are generally safe. So a lot of it comes down to, tuning into what feels okay, what feels safe, what feels supportive, what feels nurturing, and then getting underneath that. If nothing does, there needs that work needs to happen. So you can find what we call resources, are things that are comforting for you, like whether it's your feet in the grass, or a hot cup of tea, or taking a bath, or the things that help you to feel settled and calm in your system, or certain people. So as we start to heal inside, we start to choose people who are healthy for us more, because we're more tuned in. So it's not a short answer, because it may take a process, like you've been saying, to get to that place where you can trust your body, and where your body's not like always giving you these red flags because of your trauma.
When you take control over the inner narrative, when you start speaking lovingly to the self, that's when you turn your energy on. And you can teach yourself to do that automatically, which is what I work on every day. And that's how I help empower my clients too. So they're their own life force. So now when I'm my own life force, I don't need someone else to make me feel good, because I can make myself feel good. And now that I have the contrast, I know when you're not making me feel good. Now I can avoid you, because now I know what feels good. So now I can trust myself, and I can trust my instincts. And I'm so protective over that energy that there isn't a person alive that I'm willing to risk that for.
When you take back your power, you make your opinion the most important opinion. You take self-responsibility for yourself in your life, and you stop blaming other people. Then you go, okay, done. I'm done with blaming. I'm done with shaming. I'm done with the guilt. And I'm going to accept that it happened to me. But what I no longer wish to accept and tolerate is that this is going to be my future. I'm going to consciously choose and create my future. And what I want is to feel loved and valued and respected and safe and appreciated. What I want, and you journal out, you list out how you actually want to feel. Not what the dream relationship looks like, not what the dream man or woman looks like, but how do you actually want to feel?
The part where people are starting to get into post-traumatic growth is a really good place to start to look at being of service, right? Being of service to others. And also making sure that we are first and foremost serving ourselves. Like, what does post-traumatic growth look like? What does healing look like? Right. And a lot of people have this misconception that if they're still getting triggered at all, that they must not be healed. And that's just not the case. There are phases of post-traumatic growth, especially early on, where people still do get triggered. Just to be super clear. It's just that they know that they've built up enough of the skill set, because again, it's skills that can be learned, that they feel confident that they can handle the triggers. They know what to do, that they're not feeling like taken over, like how I used to feel and how so many people feel when they're triggered. Don't feel, overwhelmed by it, but feel like, okay, I see that I'm triggered. I feel that I'm triggered. I know what to do. I used to think that things were for others and not for me, because I was trained to believe that. And it's just not so. Every person, is is equal. You get to choose how we live moving forward, having a little ferocity on your own behalf. That's really important.
So I'm a big advocate for living courageously. And if you look at the word courageous, it means your heart, courage. It's from cœur, from the French. And, you know, first we have to find our heart. And if we've been putting layers and protecting ourselves, which is very normal when we've suffered any kind of abuse, there's a fragmentation of the body. And this especially applies for sexual abuse, by the way. There's a complete disconnection from the physical body because it's our protection. How can we possibly be connected in the body if our beautiful, sensitive, fragile, highly exquisite body is being treated like that? Of course, there's a fragmentation and disconnection.
Boundaries is basically saying no to somebody else, which means saying yes to yourself. And it's accepting that and being ready, willing, open, available, and committed to that. Because the reason why you set boundaries is because you're choosing to love, value, and appreciate yourself. It's because you're choosing, finally, to put yourself first. And when you're ready to do that, then it makes setting boundaries so much easier. So here's how you set boundaries in 3 easy steps. The first step is you need to decide what is important to you. What do you value? What are the 3 to 5 most important things that you value? Okay. And because we're talking about relationships, let's talk about it in form of relationships. So what are the 3 to 5 most important values to you in relationships, right? So for me, it's trust, it's loyalty, it's authenticity, it's support, and it's being positive. Like, I don't want any Debbie Downers in my space, right? So those are my top key values when it comes to relationships. So already you have to know and understand and really be crystal clear on what are your top 5 values in relationships, because it makes a non-negotiable so much easier to spot. It makes a red flag so much easier to see, right? Okay, so then from there, then you decide, all right, that's the first step, right? The second step is you go, okay, well, what am I no longer wishing to tolerate? What is my yes list? What is my no list? And you do this based on the past, okay? So the reason why we have values is because we've been hurt before. So then we decide, well, shit, someone lied to me, so I really value trust. Someone cheated on me, so I really value loyalty. I've had people that were fake in my life, so I really value authenticity. I've had, and then you keep going, right? So then you decide, well, what am I no longer wishing to tolerate? Step 2, what do I no longer wish to tolerate? People that lie to me, people that abuse me, people that put me down, people that bully me or criticize me, people that don't support me, people that judge me, right? So I no longer wish to tolerate X, Y, Z. Then the third thing is you create your yes list and your no list. This is your non-negotiables list. This is what I'm saying yes to. I am saying yes to the most amazing soulmate tribe family that love me, value me, appreciate me, support me, uplift me, that want me and encourage me to be more of myself every single day, that empower me, who I love so much that I would travel with. For me, like, that's the epitome, right? If I'm going to travel with someone, I love you, right? Who are there for me no matter what, who are so loyal to me and are like fiercely protective of me, who would never, ever hurt me in any way, shape, or form. Like, that is my yes list, right? So create your yes list and then create your no list. This is my no list. Someone who lies to me, even if it's a white lie. This is my no list. Someone who lets me down. Someone who is more loyal to themselves and their needs than me. Someone who I have to feel like I have to watch my back around. Like, what is your no list? And this comes with experience and this comes with practice, but get crystal clear on, this is my no list. Like if you exhibit any of these, it's a no. And then from there, it gets really easy to actually execute and do. I'm not saying it's like boom overnight, but when you have in your mind, like crystal clear, this is a yes, this is a no. It's like literally it's either this road or this road. It's like the road less traveled, like which way am I going to go down? It's really easy. And then it's also really easy to let go of people. And this is what also really, really helps. Knowing and understanding that people come into your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. A season, a reason, or a lifetime. And they're just there to teach you a lesson. They're just there to help you for yourself. Like I have walked away from so many people or let go of so many people in my life easily. And it doesn't, and like, I don't feel bad about it because you're not in my yes list. And I've had other people come to me, like even it's like whatever, 4 days ago, someone said to me, like, hey, I'd really like it if you and this person were friends again. And I was like, no, because I don't want people in my life where I feel like I have to watch my back that I don't trust. So no, because they sit in this no box. And I only have space for people in this yes box. And the more you say no to someone, the more doors will open up. So whenever you're letting go of someone in your life or you're walking away from someone, please know and recognize and realize what you're really doing is you're closing the door to this. And when you're closing the door to this, you're making space. And all these doors, like 10 doors are going to open. And all these amazing people and opportunities are going to come into your life as a result of you closing this shitty door. You tap into, what's my next step? Close your eyes, 3 deep breaths, in and out. Hand on heart. You can, like, I see like a ball of energy, a ball of light in my heart. Usually it's golden. Right now, I don't know why it's purple. Right? You tap into this field. The heart chakra color, this energy center color is green. So you can see a beautiful green ball of light. You tap into here. And you could do this and then just go, what's my next step? You go and do that thing. If you need further clarity, like, because the way your heart, your intuition communicates to you is very vague, very, very vague. It's like, it's usually 1 word or 2 words. And it's like, that makes no sense. Like how, why, where, right? You ask further questions. Okay. So for example, you could go, what do I need today? Recover. Okay. What do I need to do to recover? Rest. What do I need to rest? Sleep. Okay. When do I need to sleep? Nap. When do I need to nap? I don't know why this says between 5 and 6. This should have been my napping time. Right? So you just ask yourself more questions. So that's one way. The other way is you tune into your body. And here's the key thing. If it feels heavy, it means it's not right. If it feels light in your body, it means it's right. Okay? Heavy is wrong. Heavy red light, light green light. So, and your intuition is always right.
Just 2 years ago, I was ready to stop speaking. I felt like I couldn't find my target audience. I felt like the people I wanted to speak to, people who were like me, people who were like my mother, people who were like my aunt, they weren't willing to listen or pay to listen. And I was like, what am I doing this for? No one cares. I'm not reaching people. Right. And I say this with 5,000 followers on Facebook, like probably 1,500 on LinkedIn, another 2,000 or 3,000 on Instagram, and then my TikTok stuff. People are following me. I put up a post within minutes. People are liking it, loving it, sending me messages. Thank you. And here I am with this thinking of my own. And I've been in personal development for 29 years. So imagine where people are who have never been introduced to self-love, to self-esteem, to knowing that you are worth so much more than you give yourself credit for. So imagine their condition if I've been doing this for 29 years and I still slip back into the stinking thinking process, right? So I haven't always had this. I went through a process. You know, they say a mind once stretched never goes back to its original status, right? So I started being curious. I think that's the right word. Like, what are they doing over there? Why are there only that group of people there? Why does that say do not enter here? Just, why do people like me who look like me never go over there? Why am I never invited over there? So once I became a business owner, I was like, you know what? I'm all about equality. Why did that guy just get a loan for $50,000 and he's rich and I'm poor? And they're saying they give it to minorities and women and I got nothing. So you're damn right. I got a megaphone and I would say, hey, why isn't this happening over here? And, there were repercussions. Some people shunned me. Some people, oh, here she comes. I don't care, because as long as you treated me fairly. Now, again, I didn't do it thinking that I'm speaking my way. I did it because I had children to feed. I started out with one daughter, got a stepdaughter, got a niece, and then took on 4 boys. So I raised 7 children. So now I'm not worried about one child. I'm worried about 7. Now I have a staff. They have children. So people are remember what I said, people are watching you and people see what you're doing. And you may think you're just the garbage man, right? But someone can't even get a job. So they just want to be just the garbage man. You may think you're just the cafeteria worker, just stirring a pot to feed children. I told them that this morning in my talk. But guess what? Someone wishes that they could get a job to go into a place and feel strong enough about themselves or believe that they are worthy of stirring a pot for someone. So we take for granted the little things. I've lost so many things in my life. Family, friends, business. I went bankrupt. I lost 9 pieces of property. I lost a business that did over $65 million worth of gross revenue. Who cares? At the end of that, who I've become, how I've learned to love myself, how I've learned to love every one of my fat rolls that I used to be afraid to look at in a mirror. I walk by every morning and say, damn, you're sexy. And when I walk out of my house, no one better treat me any different, or else I shall move myself from your space, because I'm going to teach you how to treat me, because I've been mistreated and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've been ignored. I've been neglected. I've been cheated on. That can't happen anymore because I know who I am today. I've been beat up enough, and you shouldn't let them beat up on you either. And know that you are so special. You are unique. You have that right to be different. Who wants to die a carbon copy of someone else anyway? And so a friend of mine says affirmations a lot. And in one of the rooms we had, she said, the chaos around me is no match for the calmness within me. And I just want you to think about that. The chaos around me is no match for the calmness within me. So when you can sit and take a breather and say, what does this mean? Is this really personal to me, or is this person's stuff? And I need to remove myself or go ask for help, right? And again, I know that it's not as easy as that in every country and state, but there is help. You tell your story. You stand firm within your authentic self. Stick to your purpose and your why. And there is no way that you can't survive and thrive, because there's something about the truth. It is so much better than a dressed up lie. And you don't have to remember what that lie was. Anytime you hear me speak, you're going to hear the same stories. I grew up a poor little girl. We boiled water in our house. And then at one point I was paying myself $2,500 a week. And I could go anywhere I wanted. And I didn't go anywhere I wanted because that wasn't who I was, but I had the ability to do it. Now, some people say, well, you went bankrupt and you lost it all. Well, guess what? I did it. Have you? So that is your stuff. If you want something, get around the people who have what you have. Right? Now, be careful who you worship, because then we could be worshiping the people like the Kardashians and the crazy people. But, decide what it is, your why you want it. And then come up with a creative plan to get there. And I'll get passionate, but that's my story on thriving and surviving. if you are listening to this and you haven't had someone to talk to in your life, just to have a basic conversation, someone other than a family member or loved one, right? Someone completely outside of the picture, just to bounce some things off, I say do it. Because we've all gotten to a point where we've done something or we wanted to do something, we stop. And that's fear, that ugly, little 4-letter word that's so powerful, right? And it's fear because we don't have the knowledge and or experience. We didn't know any better. We don't have the facts. All we have is hearsay, right? What someone else said. And until you experience it yourself, you don't know for sure. But what happens is we have these fears and we worry about things that will never happen, more than likely. And we waste time and we stop and we go, we stop and we go. And there's something stopping us. And that's something more than likely from our childhood or our young adulthood that scared the bejesus out of us. And we don't want to go there anymore. And it's stopping us from being great.
Dealing with my own depression and things like that, because everything in my life is not unicorns and roses. And, I miss my girls. I miss, my family. But I also remember that that's what I'm doing this for, so that other families don't go through what I went through. And so that when my girls do come home, they're not going to see somebody who broke. They're going to see somebody who kept persevering, kept trying, kept working to make it a better world for them, to make something of myself that they could be proud of, And that's really what has kept me going and kept me writing. And honestly, the writing, as hard as it can be at times, writing my stories, it also is healing. It's very, very healing. Putting pen to paper, those emotions, those stories, those trials and tribulations. Book 2 in Rise of the Crystal Phoenix series is actually the why I stayed. The underlying mental things, the abandonment issues from my childhood, things like that, because I want people to understand the why people stay in domestic abusive relationships. Because everybody says, oh, well, if he put his hands on me, I'd just leave. Heck, I used to say that as a kid, as a teenager, even as as an adult. Until you're in that situation, sure, you can talk like that all you want. But until you're there, you don't know. And being in that situation, I'm writing these books to try and help the awareness so people are more understanding and not accepting of the situation, but understanding and willing to help instead of shame the victims and the survivors. Like it happens so often. That's really my motivation, and what helps me keep going is knowing that I'm giving hope.
What would you say to your younger self?
Just keep trying. Just keep pushing. Because the only thing I would change would be the way that I fought for my girls. I would have changed that up a little bit. But overall, the journey that I'm on didn't happen to me, it happened for me. If I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't be feeling as fulfilled as I am. Because knowing that I am helping people and that I'm uplifting people. I mean, I'm part of a new nonprofit called Inspire Light that is going to be building a sanctuary for sex traffic survivors, specifically moms. And if I hadn't gone through what I've been through in my life, I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be here to do that. And it's so fulfilling to me. I feel like I found my purpose. So honestly, I would just tell my younger self, just keep persevering. It does get better.
How has sharing your story changed since we met 2 years ago compared to now?
I was still faking it to make it at that point. I kept telling myself if I keep saying I'm not scared of him, then eventually I won't be. Well, I'm not anymore. I truthfully am not. I have not heard from him come September in a year. And I am so relieved. But honestly, if he showed up in front of me right now, I'd just look at him with pity and walk away. I have, he doesn't have the power over me that he did then. Um, the games that he played, they don't work anymore. And he gave up finally, thank God. I won't lie. But now, from then to now, yeah, I've gone through some bouts of depression and things like that, but I've had a lot happen. I mean, I lost my sister. My sister Susan passed away. I've had a lot that's happened in the last 3 years, but I'm not going to let it defeat me. And I keep pushing forward. And yes, I will own, I've also learned that I need to own my emotions and work through them instead of bottling them. And my writing takes a really, really big part in that. And it really does help with the healing. Between writing, like doing what I like to call purge and burns, where I write a letter to even myself and then burn it to release the energy. I do a lot of those.
I mean, it's a journey to go from surviving to thriving. It's not something that happens overnight. You didn't get to where you are overnight. But when you do take your healing into your own hands and make that decision to really heal and let go of the past and the way that the past has its hold on your body and on your emotional life and on your belief system. And as you shift that, you can start doing that just by watching this movie. This documentary right now will tell you so many things. You're going to have all these things shifting in your mind just as you hear people's stories and as you hear the advice and the information from people who've done their work. Is that there is a freedom that you can find that's on the other side of everything that you've been through. And keeping your eye on that, reminding yourself, like, other people have done it, they've done it, I can do this. I can free myself from these past experiences. I don't have to carry them forward with me, other than with that's experience that lets me know, let's not repeat that experience. I think it's as important to know what you don't want as it is to know what you do want in life. And so, you don't want to repeat that again. Okay. There's a certain amount of consciousness and awareness that you're going to have to develop in order to not repeat that again. And it's not just behaviors. It's really releasing the energy and the beliefs. It comes so much down to beliefs, because what we believe determines our experience more than you can possibly understand. And when you shift a belief, you shift your perception. When you shift your perception, it's like you're putting on new glasses that work for you. And you may no longer see the things that used to trigger you, just won't trigger you anymore. When you do release those beliefs and you release those emotions and how they get really lodged in the body.
Thriving isn't always a straightforward line. It isn't, and I do still have my moments where I go, I wish I could kiss my children goodnight every night. And if I only went back, I could do that. And it's just a glimpse. It's just a glitch of a moment, because as soon as I have another communication with their father, or if I really, really am honest with myself, it's like, no, that's like a fairy tale. That's not reality, because there's a reason that, you left. There's a reason why you are, you get up every day and you can live with yourself for, I can actually now be in my own, it's an energetic thing as well, because when you're in a relationship like that, it really affects you. It really pulls you down, and it robs your energy. It robs your resources. So if you choose yourself, and yourself can also mean your children. So often for mothers, we choose our children first, But by choosing our children first, it actually means we have to choose ourselves, because we can only be the mothers we want to be. We can only be fully showing up as ourselves if we choose that exit route. And then we are, that's why my chapter in Here Aurora is called I Left for the Children, because I was putting the children first, even though it might not seem like that. And the immediate aftermath of that was that I wasn't with them all the time. And I have limited time that I'm with them every month, but I am confident that that is going to change, and that I am going to be I am a much better and stronger mother for having disentangled myself. And I'm not modeling to them a relationship, and this goes to the generational healing. Why would I want to model that kind of relationship to my children? That would be so damaging to them, that they see that, this is normal behavior between two people who love each other, who are their mother and father. This is normal behavior to speak to your mother like that. And it goes back to honoring the mother. I think we all need to remember that the planet is like our mother, that we need to have this honor for what is giving us life, the nurturing qualities of this planet, and of it's like an essence, the mother. So I think that's an important thing for everyone to understand, that when you leave, it's not always a straight path, but sometimes it really is the only thing you can do.
People think of us like, oh, I'm either not healed or I'm healed. Well, there's, all the steps in between. I was still having some triggering, waking up in the middle of the night when I was in the early phases of post-traumatic growth. But I knew what it was, and I could just acknowledge that that's what it was. And I knew what to do to what I use the word recombobulate, regain harmony. I knew what to do to regain harmony in myself in those moments, and then it wouldn't affect my life so much, So that's really, to me, that's really what it is like, how much is it affecting our lives? And acknowledging that it's not just like one day we wave a magic wand and it's all, disappeared. I mean, it does though, you start to, like, time passes, that's a reliable thing. And, we just look back and go, oh my gosh, I healed all of that. That's amazing, So acknowledging yourself is really important. Like in post-traumatic growth, we can feel like we're a mess sometimes. And it's not, it's healing. It's a sign of healing. A lot of the time people think they're not on the right track, and they're absolutely on the right track. Sometimes it's those mental distortions that have been put on us from other people that are making us feel that way. Like, oh, all the things they told us to try to control us.
You're worth it. Like you being happy is important, because you deserve a happy, healthy life. Everyone does. You're on this planet to enjoy it and not to suffer. So I encourage you to do whatever it takes to get yourself there. And it may seem overwhelming, but you can do it, because when you get the right kind of help, you can heal. You can feel better about yourself, and you can feel empowered, and you can feel like life isn't so freaking hard all the time. And you don't have to live in a place where you feel stuck or where you're suffering. But it does take your determination to say, yes, I'm worth it, and I'm going to get some help. But don't put yourself last. Put yourself first, because even if you're a single mom or something, your kids will be way happier because of you helping yourself.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. I'm going to say yes to myself. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to respect my boundaries. I'm going to celebrate myself.
It is your life. Your life is a choose your own adventure. Your life is a story that you get to write. You are the author of your own story. So do not sit there and play the role of the victim, be like, everything happens to me. No, 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 no. You get to consciously choose and consciously create. And that is when you actually get to literally take back your power, because you're like, I am choosing this, or I am tolerating this. So if you are stuck in that position right now, then recognize and realize that you have a choice.
I ended up changing what I was attracted to. I was attracted to the tough, hard kind of a guy, and I changed and was attracted to a completely different kind of a guy.
I'd broken the pattern. And he was like, why would I? Why would I ever treat you with a lack of respect? Why would I ever treat you with a lack of love and respect that you deserve? And I was just like, it's gone. Because my energy shifted, because I chose me. I decided this is what I want, and I am not tolerating anything less.
What is your superpower?
My strength, and knowing that I can think it, believe it, and achieve it.
My ability to share my experiences.
Unconditional love.
Vulnerability, honesty, love.
I'm always willing to help people.
My heart.
I can love the people who have hurt me.
I can sense people.
Es resiliencia.
Being able to speak.
I'm a very, very fast learner.
The ability to relate to all different kinds of people.
I still always see the best part of every person.
Bringing people together.
I can find anything, anywhere.
I'm very supportive.
I'm just superwoman on you.
Intuition. Realizing my character.
To see the good in others.
Listening.
Courage.
My mother.
Authenticity.
To make friends.
Deep connection.
My ability to grow.
Helping others.
Growing.
Listen to my heart.
It's creativity and innovation.
Is recombobulation.
Is being me.
Seeing the world with wonderment.
Patient.
To understand at a very deep level.
Love.
Bring out the deeper parts in people.
To think logically.
Self-healing.
Motivate people from the heart.
A wszystkie kobiety, które dzisiaj słyszeliście, są dowodem na to, że ta zmiana jest warta tego, żeby ją podjąć i warta jest tego, żeby o siebie zawalczyć.
This was an experience that actually helped us learn how to love ourselves better.
Everything isn't happening to you. Everything's happening for you. We don't have to get trapped in the past story. Instead of believing that we're broken and wounded and nobody will ever love me, we need to shift that perspective and say, no, I'm a warrior. I survived the unthinkable. And now I am stronger and better. I have gone through it and I've come out even better than before.
Someone else out there is living our life. Someone else out there is living the life that all of these survivors and thrivers have escaped right here, right now. You can pick up any newspaper. You can go online to any news outlet and you'll hear about mostly women, some men, but mostly women who are killed by their boyfriends, who are killed by the children of their father. You hear it all the time. And so there's someone out there right now that is living your survivor story. And when you start speaking, you give that person hope. So suddenly, with the hope, they start to have this idea of choice. And that is really possible. That's where you can really help someone create great impact in that person's life, and if they stay on the path, they can then in turn create great impact in their life. They can end generations of trauma. They can end generations of codependency, generations of women and men picking the wrong partners and staying and not understanding what's going on. And I think that is so encouraging, and that's why you do what you do, because you want to encourage people to awaken and to take ownership over their life in a powerful way and to tell their story.
You just don't know what people have gone through in this life to live, to stay alive, to breathe, to not cry, to hide their laughter because someone else doesn't want them to laugh. Someone says, oh, well, blah, blah, blah has happened to me. Immediately take a breath and say, what if that were me? How could I handle that?
Your reality can change. Who you are can evolve. You need to focus on love to access the reality of who you are. You need to embrace love in your life.
But that's what we're missing in this universe. It's love. And that is the antidote to hate, crime, pain, depression, anxiety, and hurting each other.
Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to invite you for the next episode, where you are going to hear all the reasons why people stay in unhealthy relationships. See you soon. Bye. If this episode resonates with you, please go to exposenetwork.com. You will find the link below, and we would love to learn more about you and your story. Do you have a story to share?
It's night in the city, and I'm on my way back home. Humming on my favorite ditty, swinging like Natalie Cole. But then out of the blue, who strolls down the boulevard but you? Your place is closer than mine. Why don't we go there and have some more down the boulevard but you? Your place is closer than mine. Why don't we go there and have some more wine? 'Cause life is for living. Let's see where this all might lead. Let's see where this all might lead. Waking up to a brand new day in between your sheets, breaking up in the best of ways, and I'm back again on the street.